let me just hit this thing about Burrow here, because I've been getting, I see some people thinking I'm overhyping. Look, folks, it's the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl week. There's one game. That's it. And there's one game to focus on. There's other games that it's going on. There's other games going on, like Kyler Murray, getting rid of all things Cardinals on his Instagram account.
That's a game, all right.
And Tom Brady opening the retirement door ajar one more time, and then James Harden getting traded. So it's not just, outside of the Super Bowl within the football world. It is the sports world in general that, there are things to discuss. Also, even in our own house, Mike Del Tufo answering phones all week and trying to multitask, as he's literally doing right now, a very loud talking person answering our phones because Adam Chudwin has been out. So there's been a lot going on around here. But when it comes to talking about the game, how do you not talk about Joe Burrow as much as we've been talking about him? Of course, we're going to do it. The guy is from the state of Ohio. The guy went to the Ohio State University and was told there was no room for him there by Urban Meyer. Now, yes, for Dwayne Haskins, who then went and threw 50 touchdowns, but Joe Burrow had to go elsewhere, okay? He says he's still a Buckeye because he got his degree there, and that's great. He's from the state of Ohio. He's totally should feel that way, and he's also an LSU Tiger because it was thanks to them, he was afforded the opportunity to do what he's become, which is the most meteoric rise, period. Because even though Kurt Warner had his meteoric rise and went to the Hall of Fame, okay, and made a movie out of his life, and Tom Brady made himself what he's become with the opportunity he was given, and Kurt was not drafted, and Tom Brady was 199th overall, and that's been pushed back about Joe Burrow because he was number 1 overall. Well, he wasn't number 1 overall since the minute he came from Athens, Ohio. He made himself the number 1 overall pick. What he did in LSU, 60 touchdown passes, and then pointing to his ring finger, put one on there, and smoking a cigar, and Odell Beckham's handing out cash, and it's wild.
Awesome.
It was wild.
Awesome.
And then he becomes number 1 overall, especially when we were all focused on Tua the entire time.
Yep.
And then he gets into the league, and he's number 1 overall, and the first chance that he gets to try and show what he can do, he gets his ass beaten over and over and over again until he's literally broken. His knee gets torn up. And the Bengals are the franchise where you go, well, that's the most Cincinnati thing, isn't it? That he comes to Cincinnati and you can't even get a year out of him to try and get him acclimated, which is what the idea is. You need your guys to get reps in order to have them blossom into what you hope they become. And even with all of that, he blossoms into what they hoped he would become in year 1. With his knee injury, and then in year 2, he's arrived. And Brady goes out the door. So, of course, we in the media are all wondering about who's next. We're always focused on who's next. I remember when I started at ESPN the magazine had that cover of who's next. Lindros and A-Rod and Kobe.
Cordell Stewart.
Right? Amazing that everyone else was maybe kind of really next, but, be that as it may. You know what wasn't next? ESPN the magazine. But we're still focused on what's next and who's next. Can Burrow be next? And the rest of our days, we will be wondering about young kids coming out of college, coming into the NFL, and can they do what Joe Burrow is doing? Now, we will forget about it and not say that if the Rams win.
Yep, true.
And that's what we're talking about this week. I'm not hyping it up, saying that he is this. I'm saying that on Sunday, when rings are handed out, not physically, but, figuratively, when a trophy is handed out, when confetti is picked out of hair. Will Joe Burrow be the guy that we talk about for years to come? Or can he be the next Dan Marino? Got there soon and then didn't get it again. That's what we're talking about. And I'm not saying he's the next Brady, but we're all wondering who can catch Tom Brady. You know who can catch Tom Brady one day? If that's at all possible, it's somebody who's done what Joe Burrow has put himself in the position to do. That's all I'm saying. And Rams fans could sit here and say, why aren't you closing the show with the Rams? Because they got a bunch of stars. They got a bunch of stars.
They're supposed to be here.
Well, they were all in on it. And it's you can't take it for granted that they were all in on it. They were supposed to be here, and they got here, too. Mm-hmm.
They were like the Avengers. They assembled.
Right. And what's at stake for them is that they put they're all in, and knowing Les Snead, this is not all in one basket. They can figure out how to stay immensely successful for years to come. But what's at stake here is there's a Los Angeles fan base to be won. Don't forget, if the Rams win, that 2 days before the Super Bowl, the only thing this town was talking about on the local sports front is that the Lakers didn't pull a trade on deadline day. Maybe years from now, when the Rams have come and taken over this town and suddenly people aren't selling their tickets, they're going to the game, we'll remember this. This is what's at stake. That's why I love the Super Bowl.
The best.
Because legacies are forged. History is made, and it is so unfair to those who lose or get beaten or lose because they beat themselves. That's the worst. Or blown out, where Buffalo Bills teams that make 4 in a row are considered by some not dynastic. Not here. That was a dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
This is what is at stake on Sunday. And if we are hyping it, there's 2 reasons. 1, it's a long week and we are bored. And 2, because Sunday is that big. Because this is the sport made in America, played in America. The only sport in this country or continent where it does not matter who makes the finals. We're all sitting down and watching it. Thank God.
God bless football.
And we are going to sit down and we are going to watch a team from Ohio and Cincinnati finally break through, or a team in Los Angeles returning to a town where they used to be, breaking through themselves. And it's just because if the Rams win it, people in Georgia and Texas and Detroit, because of that quarterback, feel that they've won too. And if it's in Cincinnati, look out. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.